The best way to predict the future is to create it.
I heard that before.
Yeah. You know very well this man. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Censura, Cero. March 21st is International Day Against Racism. So Censura Cero this week will talk about racism and Afro-descendants in Latin America. Tonight, we have a special guest, a man I admire, not just because he's a great human, but for his international job to eliminate racism and defend human rights. I'm talking about Guy Djoken. Guy, welcome to Censura Cero. Welcome again to Veracruz, Mexico. And thank you so much for your time.
Evelyn, this is for me an honor to share the podium with you, and I'm looking forward to answering your question because, as you stated, it's very, very important what's going on around the world, what's going on in Latin America, because racism is one of the most challenging issues that we are facing as human beings. So thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Guy. But let me introduce you to the audience, okay?
Okay.
Guy Djoken is chairman of the U.S. National Commission for UNESCO Clubs, Centers, and Associations, and executive director of Washington, D.C.-based UNESCO Center for Peace. He's a social promoter and a civil rights activist with an extensive public speaking experience in domestic and international settings on social justice and human rights. His international awards include the Gandhi Peace Award, the Nikola Tesla Global Forum White Dove Award, Citibank Community Partner Award, and Justice Thurgood Marshall Award. After this presentation, let's begin. Guy,
yes.
What is racism? And is there still racism in Latin America?
Oh my God.
What do you think?
Okay, thank you so much. There is something that will calm down the road. Racism is something that has actually tarnished and prevent progress. Human beings to live together, to live up to the promise that we're giving all across the globe, and to achieve some of the things we all want to achieve as human beings. So for me, racism, it's the most important challenge that humanity has faced as a whole. So one event that people are not talking about a lot that I would like to bring is that the United Nations realized that the Black people from around the world, more than any other race, has suffered more than any other race. So they came out with a decade for people of African descent. So 2015 to 2024 supposed to be the 10 years where all the countries around the world recognize the contribution made by Black or Afro-descendant, to the quality of life we are all enjoying today. So I'm saying that because I think it is very, very important. When you ask me what is racism, there are a couple of ways to look at racism, but the most pernicious way, what makes race a problem is that people, when they use race as a factor to value someone and give them a social class, okay? That for me, the basic definition of racism, where you look at someone, we don't care about what they are bringing to the table, what is in their head, what their contribution, we just see a race. And that for me, it's something that we should all fight against, because we know George Floyd, it was just a little bit over a year. You see all these people in the United States being killed left and right by police that's supposed to be protecting them. And the basic thing is that when you look at someone, you should be seeing another human being. You know, if I ask you how many people have you met today, maybe a number of people. If I ask you how many have blue eyes, how many have black eyes, you will not know because it's something that we don't see. We hope that at some point, race will be something like that. You see a human being, you just look at them as another human being, not about the race. And Dr. King put it very, very clearly when he said that you hope that someday, you know, we'll be looking at people for their contribution, what they are bringing to the table, rather than the color of their skin.
Okay, very interesting words. So racism exists, and not just here in Mexico, in Colombia, in Latin America. Racism exists around the world. So we need to work harder with society in general, with our students, our children, okay, to eliminate it. Yeah. So very interesting. So, okay. CualPaz is an international forum for the next Thursday and Friday in Bogotá, Colombia. So you'll be there as an important guest and activist. Yes. So could you tell me more about this project?
Yes. One of the amazing thing, and you also touched on that in your first question, is about racism in Latin America. I've been to many of these countries, and there's one, Salvador, where I found it interesting. When I went to San Salvador, I had people who were, you know, telling me about the history of the country, and I find out that there was a time when it was illegal to be black in that country. Just imagine that. It is illegal to be black in a country. So as a result, what happened? If you were black, you had to run away from that country, right? So it was a long time ago, but unfortunately, that kind of mindset is still prevailing. Okay, we had a country like Brazil, where the the mixture between all the races has been going for generation and generation and generations. Wherever one of the best soccer player, I like call it football, Pele, right? Who at 17 was making the whole world dream, right? He was black. But when you go in that country right now, you wonder what is happening, because when you see social mobility, you know, the black are the poorest, okay? Yeah. Blacks are some of those that are designed to do secondary jobs. We don't see them in the political spectrum, right? So, and usually when you have racist, people that are racist don't just act against black, right? They actually have a social class system where they believe that some are at the top and some are at the bottom, and so forth and so forth. So we may be talking about racism, but we are talking about injustice, right? So we all know what happened to Colombia. Colombia is one of the countries in Latin America that has suffered civil war. There are people that have spent all their life, I'm talking about adults, that spent all their life in the civil war, okay? They've been able to broker peace a number of years ago, but literally, Colombia has almost about the same number of Afro descendants like the US, but they're almost invisible, right? I've been going to Colombia in the last, I would say, the last 3 to 5 years, and we actually have an amazing program that you know about, where we bring high school students from around the world to the US, you know, every July. And believe me, we've been doing that for a number of years, and there are a lot of people that didn't even know that Colombia could be black, because I had to go in Colombia, work with the administration to manage. We had to do a lot of effort to have the first Afro-Colombian to attend that program. So I'm saying that to say that Colombia, on top of some of the problem people know, there was a time where drugs were a problem. There was a time where, you know, the civil war was a problem. Yes, but racism, you know, is also another major issue. I had an intern from Colombia here that came here to my office in Washington, D.C. for about almost 6 months. And that was an Afro-Colombian. But when they tell you about what is happening in the coast, you know, that part of Colombia where they don't have roads, most of the racism is happening. They actually don't have any infrastructure. So racism is something that actually is preventing the country from getting better. So The conference that we are talking about, that I'll be attending in the next 3 days in Colombia, is about to address this issue and find out some of the solution moving forward. We'll be talking about the place of Afro-Colombian in the society, and also about peace initiatives.
Okay, so perfect. You talk about Colombia, okay, and other countries from Latin America, but how about Mexico? What happened with Mexico? So I'm here in Mexico. I know, okay, I know there is Afro-descendants here,
Yes.
but what happened with this part of the Latin America?
Thank you very much for asking that question. You know, we've been coming to Mexico for almost 15 years personally, and we had one of the UNESCO conference in Veracruz many years ago. That's where we connected with many of you, and you know, those kind of a connection are
I was younger.
Yeah, you are still very young, trust me. You are still very young. But remember those days, those are wonderful days. So yes, and a lot of people actually in the United States don't know that there could be Black Mexican. They have never seen them. You know, they cannot compute Mexico and Black. But when those who know history, those who have studied history, know that Black have contributed greatly in the history of Mexico. But where are they today, right? And that's the question we should ask. So do we have any program that allow them to fulfill their full potentials? That's something that's lacking. You know, some just believe that Black people are good in sport and music and culture, but not in governing. But that's a wrong way of looking at things, right? You know, we should be creating a condition where every single citizen is able to contribute. You know, we all have different talents. So Veracruz that we are talking about, I know the history of Veracruz, you know, coffee and all these things, and no, but unfortunately, the government has not have any program that I know of that encourage, you know, minorities, I would say Black and minority, to come to the forefront. I talk about the decade for people of African descent because all the government, it's a mandate for United Nations, all the government from around the world actually promise that they will be doing something to recognize the contribution of Black people in their country. What has Mexico done for that? I'm yet, maybe they did something, but I'm not aware of anything like that. But personally, when I come there from time to time, I try to encourage, you know, people on the personal level to make sure that when we have programs, national programs, make sure you have the contribution of all people, including Afro-Mexican. Their history needs to be told. And I hope that before 2024, which is the end of the decade, there will be an event in Mexico, in many parts of the other countries in Latin America, about the decade for people of African descent, so that we could highlight the contribution of Black Mexican, Afro-Mexican, and so that other people could see that, you know, they were part of the making of this great country.
Yes, okay. In particular, Veracruz. So, Black people is part of history, okay?
Yeah. Yes.
Everyone knows about it, but you are right. Afro-descendants don't have spaces, okay? Or they don't have recognized.
They're not recognized, yeah. Their contributions not recognized. So, and that's very sad.
We, as a part of a society, we as individual, okay, like me, like Luis Miguel Perez Duarte, like other teachers, students, how could recognize these people with UNESCO, with, I don't know, okay, could you tell me this, please?
Okay. Before I say something, what each of us or institution could do, I would like to bring a small, something that I intend to talk in Colombia. When, you know, in the world, there were some people that believed that they were masters, the colonizers, okay? They believed that their duty was to civilize other folks around the world. So they knew it, they have knowledge and all these things, even though that was not true. Today, when we know what the Inca, the Aztec have done in Latin America in the years ago, people are amazed about the ingenuity of these people. Talking about Egypt. So, but unfortunately, since the 17, 18, 1900, we have folks from Europe that believe that they have the knowledge and they have to go around and civilize people and, get people under them to really throw away all their beliefs and just believe as the white folks, which is a problem that we are facing until today. So when you look at the way they organize the world, the New World Order, look at the United Nations, for instance. We have 5 countries that have veto power. Where are they all coming from? They're all Western countries. The only one that's not a Western country is China. So basically, decisions are made currently under the eyes of those, they were masters. They're colonizing around the world when they're, teaching us civilization, quote unquote. Okay, you see my quotes, right? Because I don't believe what they call civilization is because I know our parents, our ancestors. Life started in Africa. We all know that. We're all Africans. Somehow people don't realize that. Okay, the first human being was born there, and then they get from there.
People think Africa is a country.
It's no.
Chimamanda Adichie talks about this a lot of times around the world. So she's Nigerian, no? Nigerian.
Yeah, Nigeria. So look at what they did when they were going to capture, enslave people in Africa and bring to this part of the world. They had direct lines. People could go directly from Africa to Caribbean, to Latin America. But after the 20th century, what did they do? They make it impossible for Africa to communicate with Latin America. You cannot go straight from Latin America to Africa. You have to go through America, through Europe. So they made it in such a way that it was difficult for us to conquer, to cut that relationship that many of the Afrodescendants had with the mother continent. That was one of the success they made. So they put in such a way that anytime something is white is good, black is bad. They take hundreds of years to making us believe that we are second-class citizens. And unfortunately, many of our brothers and sisters actually took that for reality. And that's something we need to deconstruct, right? That's why it's very important to see people like Obama rising up. I talk about Pele. That was, one of the best soccer in the whole world. So what our job is to highlight those people, right? To show that, race actually is a concept that's foreign, right? There's only one race, which is the human race. And when we all understand that, then, then we realize that all the things we have been taught by the Western civilization, many of them were not true, and many are not true. So our job first is to make sure we know our history. Knowledge started in Egypt, and all these Europeans went to Egypt to learn about history, civilization, all those things. Okay, that's the reality. We have the Inca, all these things. They had science and knowledge. So in order for us to really tackle race, we need to change the mindset. I had one example that I want to say very quickly. I had an American that went into Zambezi, one of the biggest in Africa. He went there and he asked the people living there who discovered the Zambezi River, and they were given the name of a European. I said, but how come your parents were not here before? And I said, oh my God, but that's what we have in the books. Again, so we have a lot of work to do. We need to deconstruct the mindset. We have an oppressor's mind where the white people know it all, and then we have to go to them for everything and know that we actually have the knowledge. They came to learn it from Africa. Okay, they came to Latin America to learn from the Inca, for the Aztec, and all these great civilizations that we had long before the European civilization. Once our people, the children, grow up knowing that they are coming from people that were great. So the first thing is history, knowing our history. The second thing is in the US, for instance, we have what we call the Black History Month. Okay. Each country should have something similar, a time during which people actually will learn about what Black and others have done to make the country better. Okay, so, and each one of us should be making sure that we value people by what they are bringing to the table and not by the way they look. If we do those simple things, I hopefully before too long, we will realize that slavery was gone, racism will just go as well as slavery is gone today.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, you are right.
Thank
You
you.
are right. Just because we need to know history, not just with the North American part, okay?
Yeah, yeah.
We need to know about history, I think, from African writers, okay?
Yes.
From African native people,
Exactly.
because they are in this part, in this context. So we need, yeah, to know about history, to recognize as humans, as us, as everyone in the world, and respect them. Okay, so thank you
I have
so much.
something that I want to share with you because I think it's also very, very important. I think about a month ago, I went to Anawa, Cancun.
Yeah.
And that's a part of an effort that I started a number of years ago, something called South-South cooperation. Okay, we need to encourage student mobility between Latin America and Africa.
Yeah.
That's something that I've been pushing for quite some time, and I think that's going to also help us getting student university in Latin America to open their doors to African, and having university in Africa to open it and encourage students to go between those two continents. That also is going to help a lot in this endeavor.
Yeah, so Africa is an amazing part of the world. It's more than a lot of governorships say about
54
it.
countries, yes.
And I know it. Yeah, but people don't know it. Okay, people need to investigate, need to read more, and yeah, of course, travel to Africa. Okay.
Yes.
So that's
something
amazing.
I want to work with you on that. Okay. I'm already thinking about doing something like that. So again, I told you I was in Cancun. We need to also work so that your student could also do the same thing.
Okay. So where are you in this moment?
Actually, it's delicate because currently I'm in DC right now, but tomorrow morning I'll be in Colombia.
Okay, so
yes,
I was thinking that you were in Colombia right
no,
now.
I was on my way, but I did not there yet.
Okay, well, okay, thank you so much for your time. So,
my pleasure.
And then I want to ask you for a final reflection. I want that a message, okay, a message that you want to share with our audience, with our Mexican students, please.
Okay, thank you very much. I would like to seize this opportunity to explain, to share something that happened just yesterday in the United States. For the first time in the history of this great country, we have a woman, an Indian, a Native American woman became the Secretary of Interior. Imagine that. That was just unthinkable when 5 years ago, out of mistake, the United States elected someone that was the negation of what the United States stood for centuries. I was born in Cameroon. I chose to become an American because of the ideal that this country has, where every single person, the son of someone that came from Africa, could become the president of the United States, right? So this is the story of America. I would like that story to be a story that could be written everywhere around the world. And the way we are going to make that happen is that each one of us has to know that we have the power to change the world. You know, yes, we can. Si se puede, right? We can, and that's the thing that we need to put in mind our young ones. One day I was attending a graduation. It was a gift. It was high school diploma. There was a woman that was sitting next to me with three children. One of them was about 7 years. And then the mother was actually the first in their family to have a high school diploma. And the mother turned and said, you see, you have to be proud of your mother. She got a high school diploma. You know, one day you have to grow up to be like her. I turned around and said, you know what? I believe that she's going to do a lot more than that. She's going to be the first Hispanic president of the United States. And she looked at me like this. How dare you say? I said, yes, it's possible. So I would like the message is that every single person listening to us today should know that it is possible when we know it's possible. We need to be, like Gandhi said, the change we want to see in our community. Okay, we have the power to change, you know, just like Rosa Parks, just like Dr. King, just like all these great heroes, all the people, Mother Teresa, Nelson Mandela, all these people, Mahatma Gandhi. You know what? When they grew up, they were just like you and I. They didn't grow up with a special stars or whatever. But the one thing they had in common, when they saw something that was wrong, they did something about it. They were willing to learn and be the change. So my message to every single one listening to us that we need to make sure that we are the change we want to see in our communities, like Mahatma Gandhi said. If we do that, I know we are going to be leading to a better and brighter world. Thank you very much, Evelyn.
Thank you. I'm very sure that you have an amazing participation in the Bogotá's Forum. Good luck. Blessings to you in this project and all projects you have for the rest of the year. And again, thank you for your time, for sharing with us this space, your experience, and your job about this important topic. And like Guy Djoken said, we need to create a better world for the next generations. Amen. This is Censura Cero. I am Evelyn de Miranda. Have a nice day, a nice week, and see you later.
Thank you very much. Okay, my pleasure. Bye-bye now. Bye.